viewers. I know this isn't my usual Friday post, but I had a viewer bring something to my attention and I felt it was important to talk about it. So I did an on-the-fly, off-the-cuff interview with Moony. Moony runs a Twitch TV channel in which he was able to catch someone hacking during a Glory Arena instance. So we talked about the different types of hacks out there, what the differences are, and how you may know if someone is using them against you. I also included the video he has of the actual hacking. I've included some links in the bottom there for the original video with the sound. I included the link to something called Shadow Play, which you will hear we talked about, and I also included the link for the Aion rain meter. So take a listen and please leave your comments. How long have you played?
So I started playing in open beta actually, and originally I came with a Korean friend of mine who was playing a real tournament with me. He was like, check out this new game called Aion. I was like, okay. And we rolled Elios in open beta, and we're rolling around in like these beautiful places. And then when he's like, some of my friends are gonna play, and they're gonna go Asmo on Zcal. And I was like, okay, let's do it. We go there. Nothing, horrible. Zcal Asmo is like the worst place to be. It's like the ghetto. But yeah, I started playing in open beta and played all the way through, I guess, mid-2010, took a break, came back on like Jan 1 of this year, and I've been playing ever since, and rearranged all my old friends too.
Great, and you've played, so obviously you've played on more than one server?
So I started on Zcal. It was actually kind of a big deal. Like the largest legion was Order of Shadow on Asmo's side, and I led that for a little while. And we transferred to Seal with Zuni. She was there as well, and we called ourselves Deity. So I was on Seal with them, and then I took my break, came back, transferred immediately to Tiamat because Teach was there. He's a governor that we just recently stopped playing for school. Started playing on Tiamat, and then I guess 3 weeks ago or so, I moved to Israfel.
Okay. So the reason I asked you to talk to me was to do with hacking. And I wanted to know if you could tell me, and of course everyone who's listening, about what the different types of hacks there are.
Sure. So hold on, let me just close my thing. So I've seen a lot of hacks. Back in the day, people would get banned pretty regularly. I'm talking like 2009, 2010. In terms of hacking, speed hacks would be one, and in which you see a player. If you see a player running around really fast and he's lagging all over the place, most likely he's speed hacking. It's one thing to be lagging, but if he's lagging and then over, I guess, like a certain amount of distance, he's exceeding the ability for someone to run that fast. That's a speed hack.
Okay.
And in the same vein, and it works very similarly, you can teleport around with various hacks. So what a speed hack really is just teleporting forward very quickly. It's not, you're not actually running anywhere. So there's teleportation, speed hacks. Probably the most common one is radar hacking, obviously. I think everyone knows what a radar hack is.
I don't know what a radar hack is.
Oh, well, I'll go into it. Basically, you have your mini map in the game, and you can hover over, who you're about to engage and see, what class they are and stuff like that. A radar hack would be much more, pretty much alert you when someone that you designate is in range. And it could be an NPC, it could be a player, opposing faction, player of the same faction. And it was built because I think people were botting, and they would want to know, or the program would want to know when someone else came up to you and maybe said hi, because you're obviously botting. You don't want to be botting in front of other players. So that morphed into a tool that people use to see people that are in hide. And in that same vein, people can, with hacks, can select people in hide and attack them. And I've been attacked by gladiators, like sitting in hide, like not even AoEing me, just going up and cleaving me, which is pretty funny. But yeah, the radar hack would basically tell you, their class, their level, where they are relative to you, and you know, it's pretty. I wouldn't put it in the same level of hack as speed, teleportation, glide hacks, or whatever. I didn't go into a glide hack, but a glide hack just allows you to basically fly in non-flight zones. So if you've seen videos of players just running around the eye, and then just gliding up into the wind stream, no problem, that's a glide hack.
I'm so horrible at catching wind streams. Maybe I need one of those just so I can catch a normal wind stream, because I'm really good at missing them a lot.
Well, I actually got a player banned on Tiamat who did that. I was recording, trying to make a video, and I was chasing him on, around the circle, and he just glided straight up into the wind stream and got away. I was like, oh my god, okay. And then the next day, I guess someone else posted a video of him just like gliding like so high up that you could never imagine that players could even be there out on the outer eye in Timberhunter. So he got banned, which was nice because he kept pulling me out of hide with Fear Shriek, which was really annoying. But I guess the biggest and probably least catchable one, if you frap someone doing a glide hack or a speed hack, maybe less so a speed hacks, but glide hack for sure, and so we'll go in and just start banning people because it's really obvious. The less obvious one is an animation hack, which is very hard to catch. So when you see a player animation hacking, it doesn't necessarily look like his animations are faster than anyone else's. The game, what you see on your computer, the game that we're seeing rendered in front of us is just, someone else telling the server that I'm doing X skill or something, and then you'll see them doing that animation for that skill, right? That's how the games work.
Right.
But what the animation hack does is on their client, not yours, their animations can be 0 or just increase in speed. So their client is telling the server that they can attack now, even though they shouldn't be able to because they're in the middle of a skill. So and what happens is, what you see is just the time between skills that they are doing will be beyond the threshold of ability to do skills, right? The speed threshold. And what ends up happening is the server can't even keep up with the fact that their client, the hacking client, is telling the server that it's doing a skill. So damage just doesn't happen, and then it just comes all at once, and it's really messed up looking because you'll see 4 or 5 skills go off at once, or maybe even after you're dead, or when they're 30 meters away from you but shouldn't be able to use that skill because on their screen they're actually right next to you. And that's kind of, it's not super pervasive, but you do see it, and a lot of players will do it in places where they can be anonymous and where their stakes are high, so chaos, glory, especially chaos. Chaos still, harmony as well, where your name is not even listed. I think that's the only place in the game where you can PvP and no one will know who you are. So that's, I guess that's my synopsis of hacks. I'm sure I'm missing some. I don't know what all of them are, but you can go and Google things and see what people have created to kind of break the balance of PvP and gain a advantage in what is an extremely competitive game. There's a lot of trash talking. You don't want to lose. It's kind of hard to. It's kind of a not desirable, but there's a temptation for sure. I think for every player that wants to win to cheat.
So I've heard of something called a no CD hack, which I would think means that, and I've actually seen that, where they can cast the same skill 3 times in a row when I know there should be a 2-3 minute cooldown in between. Would that be the same maybe as like the no animation hack, or is that, do you think, something different?
I think it's certainly something different because the no animation hack is basically just changing your client to say that you can attack when you can, but it follows the same vein. It's changing your client to say that I didn't use that skill. I'm actually not sure that, it depends. I've never seen that actually personally, because I'm pretty sure that the server would say you can't use that skill again, right? But then again, Aion servers are full of holes. That's why they have Game Guard in Korea. But we don't, because at launch it was causing everyone to be called a hacker, and it wasn't working at all. So they removed it for NA, and at the time it was the right move because you wanted people to enjoy the game as it launched. But nowadays it's kind of spawned this whole industry of hacking programs. So I wouldn't be surprised if there was a no CD hack.
It's almost like a challenge, right, to find those holes.
Right. It's
Right.
just surprising that no one's actually patched them yet. And well, it's not surprising. In Korea, those holes don't exist because GameGuard would say you're messing with the files of the game. You can't be doing this, and you're banned. But without GameGuard, we're still using the same client that the Koreans are with some minor modifications. But we don't have that kind of, it's really up to the people that are playing to kind of, one, not use hacks themselves, and two, kind of police the game, if you will. And,
well, the best advocators are the ones who see it and experience it and able to show it, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess from back in 2009, there were animation hacking groups of GLADs. Like someone had like 6-box GLADs with animation hacks just, back in the day. And they would get banned. And we know exactly what it looks like. So, when I see an assassin playing, I know, I've played assassin over 4 years. I know exactly how fast he can be. So when someone exceeds that threshold, it's obvious to me. But again, it's hard to tell unless you play the class and you play the class to its fullest extent. That's why I think a lot of people do get away with it, especially in places like Glory and Chaos and the other arena, Harmony.
Right, like you said, because you can remain anonymous in some of those places. I suppose in things like even in sieges and whatnot, when there's tons and tons of people, you could probably get away with it to some degree as well.
Right.
Because the writing comes across your screen so fast and the lag and all the rest of it, you wouldn't even know. You wouldn't even have a clue.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen people, Aion Rain Meter, are you familiar with it? It's a damage meter.
Yeah, I've used it.
Yeah, and it's funny because if you run that meter while someone is animation hacking, they will not show up. Their damage will show up in spurts, weird spurts, because the server is not telling you, your client, that they've done something until they've done 10 things. So it's actually funny because I've been in, like, say, IS with people that are suspected of animation hacking, and then ran meter and been like, this guy's damage didn't show up until like 30 seconds in, and it's saying its DPS was 10,000, but he did less damage than me in total. So how does that work, right? So, if you run a raid meter at various things, where maybe a siege or something, and you see someone that's done a massive amount of damage and their damage is coming in spurts, I would be pretty suspicious.
Okay, so I know you've told me a little bit about how one might suspect that they're being hacked. I know this sounds weird, but when I'm in some place like Glory or Harmony, sometimes my computer gets this weird kind of little lag sometimes, and then I'll see what now I understand what you're saying about the no animation. I have kind of caught that, go, wait a minute, that doesn't seem right. Like when you're dead real fast and you've only seen him do a couple things, or hey, he one-shotted me and I'm dead. I'm squishy, but I'm not that squishy. But
Yeah.
What are some other ways maybe that someone might know that they're being hacked? Some other programs maybe that would be out there that people could look into?
Well, I don't want to oversell the fact that you can always call hacks, because I get called a hacker all the time, and if I didn't stream, I suppose that it might be more suspicious. You know what I mean? I kill people pretty quickly usually, though I've had trouble with some people. Program-wise, I don't know of anything that can just go and say this guy's hacking. I don't think that exists. It'd be great if it did. Obviously, if we're just talking about animation hacks, you really have to know the class, and you have to know like how fast they can attack, and it just comes from experience. There's no kind of apply all formula for telling. I can tell on sins because I played them for so long, and if a sin doesn't have flurry up, for example, and he's throwing down 4 skills a second, the max we can really do is around 3 with a weave, and if they have with flurry up, which is 20% attack speed plus. So without that, it's essentially impossible to exceed that, right? So if they're consistent with it, yes, it could happen once, that could just be lag. But if it happens consistently, then I would call that probably hacking.
Okay, so what you're saying is before people start screaming at everyone, oh, you beat me, therefore you must be a hack, um, to make sure that you know what you're talking about, right? Like make sure
Right.
you understand the other class. Maybe, especially if you are live streaming or Bandicam, or perhaps if you happen to have that on, you go back, watch your video, make sure you know what you're talking about before you
For
start
sure.
blabbing it. And you were telling me, I know before we started talking, you had said something about a program that's coming out called Shadow Play.
Yeah, so NVIDIA has a kind of a video recording software, kind of like Fraps coming out, but the difference is that it'll basically buffer everything you've done for apparently it's supposed to be 20 minutes, but I don't know. That sounds a little aggressive. But even if it's just 5 minutes, what'll happen is you can actually, when you use Fraps now, you have to record. You hit a button and it starts recording. If you're getting hacked by someone that you don't know is hacking, you obviously can't record them cheating unless you're recording all the time. But that's impossible because we all have limited, amounts of space in our hard drives and whatnot. But what Shadowplay does is it kind of keeps everything that's happened for the last 20 minutes or so in a buffer area on the card. So it's not even saving on your hard drive at this point. And if you so decide, you can launch, you can start recording. And what happens is it'll take that 20 minutes that it's recorded and put it in the beginning of your recording before you're recording. So you'll have basically, you can always, if you suspected you've been hacked, you can just go and click a button and look back at the video, whether or not you're recording at the time or not. So I think that's pretty powerful. And I think, hopefully if they can get it out, they've had some trouble with it, but that'll probably make it a lot easier to kind of review whether you think you've been hacked, whether you were right or wrong, and maybe pass it around to people that know better, the class that they're talking about. But also, just also improving your gameplay. I watch every real good fight that I've had. It's helping me.
Right, you can always learn from our own mistakes or someone else's. So
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. So basically, what you're talking about with the shadow play is kind of the same idea as the PVR we have for our TVs and cable, really, because it doesn't that do the same thing where it buffers so you can fast forward through commercials or you can rewind your live TV. So I would
Pretty
imagine
much,
it's the
yeah,
same thing, right? Just for computer.
exactly.
Ah, that's pretty cool.
Mm.
So I have two other questions. One of them is why do you think people do it? Why do you think people risk so much to hack to win? Why?
Well, let's start with risk. I mean, for one, it's a lot of risk because I personally have put a sad amount of time into my character. I think if I had to add it up, it would be over a year of playtime for sure. And to put that at risk to win a fight that I could, to be honest, win without a hack is something that it's kind of silly. But by the same token, like I said, animation hacks, for example, are really hard to detect, and it's kind of for me, risk weighted, it's not worth it to hack. But for some people, it could be. It's very hard to lose in this game. People talk a lot of trash. There's a lot of kind of honor, but people place a lot of value on whether you win or lose a fight. So when under that much pressure, it's kind of, to me at least, understandable that some people would choose to cheat. It's just not something that I think is, it's kind of like an immediate kind of gratification versus the long run, where immediately you might win your fight, but over the long run, someone will catch you, and you will lose everything. And it's not something that I would recommend anybody do. But not everyone has that kind of long-term view or the discipline to just try and get better, as opposed to just cheat to your way to victory.
And I suppose, in a way, it becomes um, addictive to keep using it because
Yeah,
I mean, face it, nobody likes to lose. Nobody likes to get their ass handed to them. I mean, that's normal way. Yeah, I play this game because I really like getting my ass handed to me all the time. No, nobody does that. We all like to win. We all like to have that glory. And I guess, you try it once just out of for whatever reason, tired I want to get this far and then I won't do it anymore. I want to just get to be able to get this gear and then I won't do it anymore. But I would think that it must become like a crutch or an
Absolutely. If you
addictive.
think about it, like let's say you were doing DLR with your group back in 3.9. You were always pulling out, say, like, 5, 6K DPS because you were cheating. It's not like you can go and just stop cheating and start doing 5, 6K DPS. You can't. And people are going to go, what the hell's wrong with you? Same thing with if you're cheating in PvP and you consistently beat someone who's a good player, and then you stop cheating, you're going to start losing. And that's not something that people want to do. If they have that one, reputation, and two, just like knowledge in their minds that they're superior to someone else. Even if they block out the fact that they cheated to get there, they still need to cheat in order to not feel like they've lost something, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and in order to sustain that rank or whatever, like, amongst the people that know you, that think you're, a really great player, in order to maintain that, you have to keep doing what you were doing. And they say one lie will always lead to another, to another, to another, and it's basically the same thing.
It's a slippery slope.
Yeah, for sure. So, just in your opinion, of course, along the same lines, is what do you think should happen, especially in Aion, to people that do hack and that are caught? What do you think should happen to them?
Well, I think so. I think there's a little different levels of hacking. I think if it's consistent and pervasive, then perhaps something stronger should be done. I mean, and I'm not ever for anyone just being completely banned forever. And it's not like they could ban someone forever and person could just re-roll. I'm a big fan of stripping people's gear that they may have earned through non-legitimate means, because I don't think that you deserve anything, no matter how much time you spent. You spent that time while cheating, and I don't think you should kind of be able to reap the benefits in the future of cheating. I think that's wrong. But on the by that same token, people spent a lot of time, and I also don't think that it might necessarily be the case that you should just perma-ban everyone that is caught cheating. I think you can give people a second chance, but I don't think they should ever reap the benefits of having cheated. So I'm a big fan of stripping gear. I'm not a big fan of perma-banning people unless, for example, it's pervasive and they've been warned. I think if you warn someone and they continue to hack, then it's fine to perma-ban them.
Right, and that just makes me think it'd be shameful. If you got caught hacking, why would you want to show your face? It'd be pretty hard to show your face again, I would think, unless you have no shame.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the way it has to be in order to keep people from cheating.
If you really want to keep playing, I guess if you want to show your face. But I mean, so we talk about permaban. I think for some people, just simply being caught in itself is a type of permaban.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly is bad, but that has to be the case, because if it was just under the table, like, for example, the SEC not having hedge fund managers admit that they did anything wrong, how many hedge fund managers do you think would still continue to cheat? It's only today that it's a huge public thing when you're caught cheating that people actually stop and go, I probably shouldn't cheat. And that, increases the quality of the game for everyone. It makes people, instead of downloading a hack in order to compete, go practice, watch videos, learn from your mentors or whomever to get better. And that's what gaming's about. Gaming is not about cheating. No one cares ever if you've done something fantastic in Aion and cheated your way through it. Like, to be honest, I mean, they care negatively, but no one's going to go pat you on the back. But to go and just do something on your own and become maybe the best player, that you can, is something that I think has value both in Aion and in life.
For sure. It's no different than any other type of games. You think of, even Olympic medalists that are caught, using steroids, right? They're stripped of their medal. And
you can draw so many parallels, for sure.
That's right. Lots to think about.
For sure.
Just not worth it, people. It's just not worth it. No. All right, well, I think that's all my questions. Do you have any words of advice for anyone who might be thinking that they should try hacking?
Yeah, don't. It's a waste of time and money, and eventually you will get caught. And rather, I think you should learn to play better. And you can. I mean, with enough time, I know, you know, everyone knows that Sin Finley on the server, and I remember him on Zgal, and he was horrible. And now he destroys me. Okay, and I know he doesn't cheat because he lives pretty close to me. So
Yeah. I think one of the repercussions of hacking personally, and I've seen this, is people who will play a certain class and have been hacked by someone else. Those people sometimes quit. Not the hacker, but the hackee, because
yeah,
it just gets them where it's like, you know, I got all this gear, I'm watching these videos, I'm trying my hardest, and my best just doesn't seem to be good enough. So you know what, this game is too much for me. I'm leaving, and it's sad because I think there's other repercussions to that as well as
it is sad.
yeah, it affects. I think it can affect your community morale. I think it can affect, like you said, other players and how they think and feel about the game, or even themselves as a player. So I think it's, you know, it's a bigger picture, I think, than what we first go, oh gee, you know, that's a shame. But yeah, well, think about all the other people and all the other things that it may have affected that you don't think about, right?
Right. It's not just about winning and losing a
Right.
specific fight. It's, you know, whether someone that's, you know, hacking, and it becomes just what's the word, like cancerous, you know, for the
Yeah.
community. One, you know, more people start to hack because they go, I can't beat this guy. They must be hacking. I should probably hack too if I don't want to look like a loser. And then on the other side of the coin is those people, the hackees that would never hack, and they just go, well, and they don't even suspect someone of hacking it, you know, for some reason.
Right.
And they go, you know, I'm just losing. Like, how is it that I'm losing so badly? I can't even, you know, fathom how they can attack so quickly. And
Right.
rather than try to get better, which is the people that should be getting better, you know, or trying to get better, it's just they just quit, and you know that's not healthy at all.
In this life that we make up, are you let down? Do you give up? Are you let down by me? In this life that we've made, this fake life that someone made up in their heads and gave to us, we all try to climb up, but they throw rocks at our flesh. We all think the same shit, we all dream the nightmare, this fake world on a movie screen. We watch as our lives break up, but one day, if we stand up with a fake smile, we could wake up. The real world is just too much to take in for all of us. We all try to climb up, but they throw rocks at our flesh. In this life that we make up,